Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are able to see me, to hear me, as we are using a new device. So let's hope that it all works well for everyone today. Okay, I presume that everyone can hear me and see me, so we'll make a start. Okay, so we wish long life to those that have Yortzeit and those that are saying Kaddish. Today's learning is dedicated in memory of Leah Bas Feivel, Tzivia Bas Mordechai, Avram ben David Slavin, Shlomo ben Yisrael Morris, Eliezer ben Shmuel Teret, Eliezer Shalom ben Avram Shmuel Beres, Tzipora Fegele Bas Reuven Baruch, Shalom ben Elieli, Ben Bas Feivel, Fruma Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel, as well as Malka Bas Chaim Eliah, Leib Moshe ben Shalom, Yafa Bas Yosef, Mindel Bas Avram Cohen. Let's see if there's any more. That, as far as I'm aware, is all the Yortzites who wish everyone long life. So today's Mishnah is one of the most well-known, I guess. The English phrase for it would be, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Right? We're all familiar with that. Good morning to everyone. So don't judge a book by its cover. Let's have a look at where that phrase came from. So, and then we'll try and understand it. Rabbi Meir Omer, we're in chapter 4 of Ethics of the Fathers, number 27. Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir, who was the student of Elisha ben Avuya, and Elisha ben Avuya, even when he became a heretic, his student Rabbi Meir would follow him, accompany him. Obviously, there were limitations as to what he could do as an Orthodox Jew, but he still followed his teacher Elisha ben Avuya and when he was breaking Shabbat, he was still saying pearls of wisdom apparently. And as throughout the generations, we have found that the intellectual rigor has been an attraction to even those that have left the path. So Rameir says as follows: Al tistalkel b'kankan ela ma sheyesh bo. Do not look at the vessel, but what is in it. Okay? Yesh kan chadash male yashan. There is a new vessel filled with old wine. V'yashan shafilu chadash ein bo. And there is a new one, right? And there is an old one which doesn't even have anything new, new wine in it. So essentially, what we are saying is, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. Al tistakel b'kankan. Don't look at this jug, this vessel, right? It may be an ugly vessel. Rather look at what's inside it. And it's interesting that I was studying last night, and this concept is fundamental to the idea of Moshiach, of the Messiah, and the origins, in fact, of King David and the monarchy of Israel. And in fact, it goes way back. Consider the following: what is the lowest point in the world? Anyone? Let's see. The lowest point in the whole world. Nobody's got it yet. You can type your comments. Come on, hurry up. Let's go. The lowest point, the lowest point in the whole world is, anyone going to comment? So the lowest point in the whole world is the Dead Sea. Okay, Sodom. Next to the Dead Sea is Sodom. And excellent, Richard got there. And that is the lowest point in the world. And it is in this week's Torah portion that it is from that point. Thank you, everyone that's coming. A bit late off the mark. Okay, yes, technically the bottom of the sea. Very good, Adam. So from that point in this week's Torah portion, Moshe enumerates and does like a mapping of the whole of Israel. It comes full circle. So of all the places you were going to choose to map out and to use as a point of reference in regards to Israel, why would you use its lowest point? Why not use Jerusalem? Why not use, I don't know, the Golan Heights? Why would you use the lowest point? Not only the lowest point, but perhaps the ugliest point. Nothing grows in the Dead Sea. The city that is next to it is Sodom. You'll see the pillars of salt, which are coming out of where Sodom was, right, which is next to the Dead Sea. And we know that it's a place of tremendous ugliness, not just in terms of physicality, but in terms of history, in terms of what occurred in Sodom. Just to give you a couple of examples. So we know, for example, that Lot, right? The city of Sodom was known for its wickedness, and that's where Lot had to be saved by the angels, right? In the merit of Abraham. Okay. So the next thing that happened in Sodom, we know that Abraham's nephew, right, who was Lot. So after Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, right, and Lot's wife had turned back and was turned into a pillar of salt. So we know that that Lot had relations with he was intoxicated, and he had relations with his daughters. So it's terrible things that occurred in this place, and the list goes on. And King David, you think about the relationship which bore King Solomon was Bathsheba. Bathsheba at the time when he first was attracted to her was a married woman, and then of course the husband died or was arranged to go to the battlefront. There is a whole list of things that occurred in this lineage of the Messiah, and the question, which we can deal with another time, a very deep idea, is why it had to be that way. But the point being is that out of ugliness, some of the most ugly and most surprising places, the places of great modesty, of lowliness, of smallness, comes greatness. And it's the exact opposite of what we would expect. Okay, so that's the first point. And we see it with the world around us is the exact opposite. You know, I know I'm stating the obvious. We live in a world where it is all about image rather than substance, right? It's about the PR, it's about marketing, branding, right? It's about imaging. It's all about what the perception of what people will think. It's not about what's there. It should be the exact opposite. In other words, we shouldn't really care what other people think. If we're doing what we know is the right thing to do, then we just shouldn't care, right? We shouldn't care. Of course, people around us should be a good influence on us, but we should do the right thing because it's the right thing, not because of peer pressure or other people around us. That's the first Mishnah. Going to do one more, and that is another very, very famous one, which we'll make a start on. Rebbe Elazar HaKapara. He said as follows: Hakina v'ataiva v'akavod motzin es ha'adam min ha'olam. You must have heard this Mishnah. Rebbe Elazar HaKapar said that jealousy, right, lust, and the desire for honor, they remove a person from this world. Okay, these are essentially the three things, the three weaknesses, the three desires, the three things that we run after in this world. They drive us forward. Jealousy, we see other people with money, with possessions, right? And we say that that's what we want, right? We see people in different positions, and that's what drives us forward. Taiva, lust, right? We only have to open or don't open a newspaper or all the other reports, and we see that time and again, people that were intelligent, intellectual, had well educated, and yet they fall and they stumble, and it's usually because of taiva, because of lust, because in the heat of the moment they were unable to keep their emotions in check and to control themselves. V'akavod, honor, right? There was I'll tell you a little story very briefly. So there was the honor is something people get very worked up about. Okay, have you ever seen anybody make a donation without there being a plaque? Right, there has to be a plaque, and the plaque has to be, positioned in the right way. I am convinced if we took down all the plaques from all the synagogues around London and New York and everywhere, the synagogues would literally, the shuls would collapse. I think what is keeping up the shuls are the plaques, the hundreds of plaques that are on the bima, on the Aron Kodesh, they're on the walls, they're on the ceiling, they're on the windows. Wherever you go, there has to be a plaque, right? And of course, we want to memorialize people, and that's laudable. But there is also the idea that, to give a gift and to do something, anonymously or, in a discreet fashion is something which is foreign to our society. So there was a person who saw something that was wrong in his community, And he thought it would be a good idea, and he spoke to his rabbi, to write to the newspaper and to explain, to write this article about what needs to change in the system, in the educational system, the community structure. And he wrote this article, right? And after he wrote the article and it was published, he got very upset. Why was he upset? Because he was waiting for someone to thank him for the article, right? And nobody came after him to thank him and to recognize and to show appreciation, right? If you're doing something for the right motives, you want to help somebody else, it is completely irrelevant, right? Whether you do get thanks, you do get recognition, or you don't, right? You are being true to yourself, right? But yet, again, the world around us is all about that acknowledgement, that recognition, that prize, that certificate, right? We need those constant recognitions. And the truth is, there is something to be said for it, because if a person feels throughout their lives that they are underappreciated, that they're not being, nobody seems to recognize anything that they do, then you're not going to have any self-worth. It's a very rare individual, very rare. There are some, but it's rare that a person can go through life and can do loads of good stuff and yet will not need to be acknowledged or recognized at all. But there is a difference between, being acknowledged and recognized and showing appreciation to our spouses and to other people that we live with and work with is so important. But that's not the motivation. That shouldn't be what drives us to do stuff. We shouldn't be standing there waiting for the appreciation. Of course, knowing that you are being recognized, that what you are doing is worthwhile, is the energy and the power that fuels us to keep going. Otherwise, you suffer burnout if you feel that you're selfless and yet you are considered worthless. So it is precisely through knowing that you're doing a good job that you can keep doing that job. But that's not the reason why we do things. We do things, it's a thankless task in a thankless world. We do it because we believe it's the right thing to do, and not to do it in order to be praised. And therefore, these three things of kina, taiva, and kavod, of jealousy, of lusts, and this desire for self-gratification, and honor and glory hunting, right, are the three things which take a person out of this world. What does it mean to take you out of this world? Very briefly, it means that we are no longer living in the world that God gave us. We're living, but not in his world. We create our own world, a world where we are filled with unhappiness, frustrations, right? Because as soon as you get one fulfillment of one's lust, one's gratification, the next one comes along. As soon as you get honored once, then you're waiting for the next honor to arrive. And jealousy is just, it's unquenchable. The thirst and desire for that, for those wants, right? Man's wants are infinite, as Adam said. We mentioned it the other day, The Economist, of course. Okay, so we're going to stop there, okay? A very, very important concept for us to take on board. Firstly, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, there are people that we see, and we all profile and categorize people, be it people from different ethnicities and races, or be it even within our own race. How many of us jump to conclusions when we see Orthodox people, right? Or we see people that look different to ourselves, right? Dressed differently. They may have tattoos, and they may dress differently to us, and they may come from a different perspective to ourselves, or they've got Hasidic garb and wearing long coats and got long beards, and it doesn't quite fit and chime with us. But don't look at the exterior. Don't be sucked into that. Look at what's inside, and within the places of what appears quote unquote ugliness or difference, you'll find the most exquisite diamonds and beauty. Wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom. We'll conclude, as we always do, Psalm 23. Okay, please let me know on the screen whilst I'm saying it. Is this a better picture? Is this, I mean, not me. I can't improve. I'm sorry. It's all downhill now. But actually, there is a setting on videos, you should know, that for airbrushing, that's why rabbis keep doing this. They're hoping that it will improve. But seriously, if it is a better picture, not the image, but the picture, let me know, because otherwise I'll go back to the computer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even when I walk in the valley of darkness, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Memorial prayer. El Mali Rachamim Shaykhin Bamrang Mim Abzim Nafana Al Confesh Nabalos Kedoshim Return Kazarakim Asirim Es Nishmais Lebas Fivel Tzivibas Mordechai Avram ben David Slavin Shlomo ben Yisrael Morris Eliezer ben Shmuel Teret Eliezer Shalom ben Shmuel Bes Tzipora Pegola Bas Ruven Baruch Shalom ben Eli ben Bas Fivel Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel Heli Bas Yaakov, Malka Bas Chaim Eliyahu, Leba Moshe ben Shalom, Yapa Bas Yosef, Mindo Bas Avram HaKohen, Shalachu. Leba Moshe ben Shalom, Yapa Bas Yosef, Mindo Bas Avram HaKohen, Shalachu Li'olamam Bagan, Eiden Teimenucha, Sam Lachim Belarachamim, Yasrim, V'soyta Kana Pabli Olamim, V'yitzor Bas Chaim V'sichvasam, Adonai Nach Lasam, V'yanuchu B'shlom Mishkavam, V'nomar, Amen. Thank you, Adam, for that comment, and for Powell for those comments. That's very, very helpful. Apparently, Adam feels like he's in Hollywood when he learns Mishnah. Brilliant. Delighted to hear it. This is Hollywood, right? This is the real deal. It doesn't get better than this. Okay, Refuah Shlema prayer for all those that are sick, as we've mentioned, and it's been well documented in the news in Israel. Unfortunately, COVID has reared its ugly head and is rife in many communities in Israel. Sadly, there are several cases now in northwest London in the Jewish community, and therefore we'll have in mind, in particular, those people when we make the Refuah Shlema prayer. Yishlach lemufushlim and shmam lachol vem v'soshach Yisrael. Refus and Nevish was a good Hajjawag Makarib and Amar Amen. Good morning and Shabbat Shalom to David, Richard, Sharon, Caroline, Peter, Mervyn, Eitan, Rachel, Estelle, Jackie, Michelle, Andrea, Adam, Richard, David, Simon, Estelle, Powell, Michael, Simon, Rachel again, Powell. I think we've done everyone. Have a great day, a Shabbat Shalom, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Take care.